security breach. So, I'm back. So, let's see. Can you say, long before time had a name, the first Spinjitzu master created Ninjago, the voice of Handunit? I can, but you guys always like to record that and then use it in your stuff, and that's not cool. Were you familiar with the FNAF franchise before your role in Sister Location? I was not. I don't know that I'd heard of it. I'm sure I saw the merchandise and stuff in stores. But my kids were a little bit older. Like my youngest kid was in middle school. His character's name was Funtime Freddy until the game came out. He doesn't have any lines, but I have all these lines about Fazbear's Pizzeria and that, I'm a Model 5 of the Handyman's Robotics and Repair System, but you could call me Handunit. So there's all, so I knew, so I had enough lines to know a lot about the game ahead of time, and I just didn't know that was a big deal because Scott really doesn't tell us much. Do you ever pay attention to people or events in the FNAF community? I used to a lot more. Now I'm just busy. God, I work so much that I don't have time to keep up with it as much as I used to. And I used to go to a lot more comic cons and anime cons and stuff like that, and meet people and talk to people like that. But with COVID, and then again with me just getting busy enough that comic cons are kind of a pain to have to go to, then I don't keep up with it as much as I used to. Is there a voice channel? Yes. Yes, we ought to. Somebody type that to Izumi, Izumi, that there is a voice channel. Hang on, let's see. I don't know how to get Izumi on board. FNAF security breach in context without spoiler. I'm not sure I understand the question. Likely English is your second language or third or fourth. You guys who speak more than one language are also brilliant. But I don't get that question. What was your favorite line to record? I think my favorite line is still, let's try another controlled shock. Because I think when you're new to the Sister Location and you're just then getting used to the voiceover, and maybe that's the first indication that Handunit doesn't really have your best interests in mind. He's just a computer. Because you're like, what? No, I don't want to shock that thing again. Hi, Waluigi. Okay, hi. If you think I'm the voice of Waluigi, I'm not. That's oh gosh, what's his name? I met him. I would have known it if I wasn't trying to think of it. Do you play FNAF, and which night are you currently at? Any games if you do? The only one I really play much is Help Wanted, because I bought a PS4 and a PSVR just to be able to play it. And then a lot of times when we have company over, especially kids, I'll make them play it. But I play it, and I'm pretty decent at it. I mean, I haven't beaten it or anything. And in Help Wanted, on occasion, I'll go in and play FNAF 1, FNAF 2, just to kind of... And I'm going to tell you what, in VR, it's way better than it was originally. I mean, it's like when you turn your head and see Chico walking around the corner, it's pretty terrifying. Hello, Handunit. Nice to meet you. Hello, Angsty Teen. What's your opinion on the FNAF series in general? I'm getting bloop bloops. Does that mean I'm getting new messages at the bottom? What's your opinion on the FNAF series in general? Corn Pie or Corn P asks. I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of neat how it's evolved, and the lore is really what blows my mind. It's so impressive how much the fans were able to pick up, and then Scott's just such a genius on how he planned and all that stuff and kind of continued the storyline. I don't know that he had the vision, more than a game or two out originally. And I think early on, he may have had to move some stuff around to make sure that the story was able to continue. What do you think about the FNAF community? I love the FNAF community. I love everybody. I love all the fans and everybody that I get to meet. I love when I go to the cons and I get to meet you guys in person. But everybody's so nice and everybody's so artistic. Not everybody, I guess, but a lot of you are so artistic and share your art with me, and it's awesome. So I love the FNAF community. I think I was warned at the beginning that some of you could be a bit weird. I think that was a nice way of putting it, or toxic might have been the word. I haven't seen that so much, but that might just be because you guys are nice to me. And maybe some of you are awful to each other. I don't know. I'm not super neck deep in the community, but I dig being involved in stuff like this. Andy, big fan. Thank you, Blind Freak Studios. Andy, will you be in Security Breach? Yes, I will. Turns out I was in the latest trailer, and so I can reveal. Oh, here's everybody answering after Elijah Padilla 45. Elijah Padilla 45. He was in the trailer. He was in the trailer. Any hints on security breach? No, I don't. And we've been recording it for so long, off and on. I've forgotten a lot of the stuff that I recorded because it was like a year ago. Some of it. Um, what's your favorite anime? Um, I'm embarrassed to say that I've never watched an anime. I was at an anime convention, and my wife and I sat down in the hotel room, and we were going to watch. I want to say it was Cowboy Bebop, and we fell asleep like during the theme music, so we weren't able to. I still haven't watched one. Um, I got a role in an anime recently. It was my first anime role ever. And then when I got the script and got the video and all that, it was kind of one of those satanic ones, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this. So I still haven't been in an anime. Um, Cody, says, what was your experience like working with Scott and Steel Wool? Anything in particular that made the experience memorable? Scott is like the dream director. He sends you the script and you send him the recording back, and he goes, this was great. Rarely will he go back and say, hey, this one line, and he usually does this by email, just like one line. He'll like, hey, that line in particular, we needed it to sound this way because here's what's going on the screen. So he really tries, he doesn't give you a whole lot of information, mainly, I think, because he likes to keep everybody in the dark. Steel Wool's a little different. They like to do, they send scripts every now and then, but they're not Scott, so they've picked it up. But there's like a team there, and I'll get emails from this person, then that person, then this person. But Scott is also a super generous, really nice guy. I really like working with him. He's just a remarkable guy. I love the fact that he's made so much money off of this and still just is kind of a regular guy. He hasn't gone nuts. He's given away tons of money. And I like to ask people, like, I'll ask my own kids, what would you do if money were no object? Let's say you had $100 million. So literally, there was nothing you could think of that was, there were no more problems as far as money goes. Then what would you do? Because that question really is, who are you? So if money were no option, what would you do with it? And that's a real good clue as to who you are. And the fact that Scott has given a lot of it away instead of saying, oh, well, I'm going to build a mansion in the Maldives. No, I'm going to build an overwater mansion. I'm going to, he hasn't just gone nuts with the private jet or, like all these rock stars do. And I think that's pretty cool about him. Lots of hellos. Andy Field says, can you guys hear me? That was me. Lots of haze and nopes. Let's see, going down. Q&A time, Andy. How does it feel? Stupid says, how does it feel voicing Handunit in Security Breach? Feels great. I love being included. I don't know what I would do if there was like a new FNAF game that came out and I wasn't in it. But so I love the fact that I'm still included in the FNAF community. It's fun. Stellar Fox says, please don't ask about security breach details. I don't think Steel Wool will let him answer this question. Look, Steel Wool doesn't own me. All right. They're not the boss of me. But I did sign a non-disclosure agreement. So I'm the boss of me, and I'm a man of my word. But I will tell you this. Here's my big hint for security breach. Try not to die. That's kind of the big one is there's bad guys. There's always bad guys, and don't want them to kill you. Were there any other characters you wanted to voice other than Handunit? In Vernu says, yes, I want to voice them all. I would love to do more. I would, but sometimes you kind of get stuck, and it never even crosses their mind. If they were to say, hey, let's make a animatronic, that's always been one of my ideas. It never crosses their mind to say, hey, let's email Andy first and see what kind of animatronic fish voice he can do. They just kind of go through their casting process, whatever it is. And a lot of times I'd love to voice other characters. Arcade says, I think Dawko would be asking those questions. LOL. Yeah, Dawko's going to probe for any details he can get. Question: what's it like voicing Hand Unit? It's like my normal day at work, but a little more fun because the lines are usually a little funnier. What are your thoughts on Bonnie Bowl? I don't even know what Bonnie Bowl is. Somebody tell me in the comments what Bonnie Bowl is, and I'll get to that in a bit, I guess, Leo. Andy, will you tell us what you'll be working on next? Elijah Padilla, 45, says. I assume 45 is how you say the end of your username since your last name is Padilla, but you could have a last name of Padilla and not speak any Spanish at all. Will you tell us what you'll be working on next? Yes. Next, wait, what is today? Next, I'm doing a corporate narration tomorrow morning. And the cool thing is I get to do it with one of my former students who just finished my class a few months ago. And this client wanted female narrator to go with me. And I said, because it's always good to help your clients, I was like, I know a few females. Would you like me to send you some samples? And they said, yeah. So I sent them like 5 female voices. And one of them was my former student. And they picked her. And that was really exciting. So I get to do a project tomorrow morning with a client. And it's me and one of my former students together. So that's really cool. Stupid replies to the Interstellar Fox. Okay. Any other projects besides FNAF? Man, I get projects all the time. This is from Shady. Pretty much on a daily basis, I narrate legal narrations for this law school study guide called Quimby. And every now and then somebody from Quimby will email me and say, yeah, a lot of our students comment on our YouTube videos and stuff and say, I know this guy from Five Nights at Freddy's. And I've even had law students email me and say, hey, you don't happen to narrate for a company called Quimby, do you? And I do. So I do Quimby every day, commercials all the time, sometimes little video games here and there. I'm in an upcoming episode of the Tuttle Twins cartoon. I'm excited because it's the first cartoon I've ever done. They're kind of a politically conservative cartoon that teaches kids values about economics and freedom. So, if you want to cancel me for that, that's fine. Let's see. Out to the comments. How does it feel to be known as Hand Unit? It's kind of cool. I love like when I don't like run into people in person very often, but like in church the other day, I had mentioned something on my Facebook page about Five Nights at Freddy's, and so somebody in church was like, "Hey, these are my grandkids, and they're Five Nights at Freddy's fans." And the kid was like, "Who are you in Five Nights at Freddy's?" And I was like, "It seems you had some trouble with the keypad." And man, the face on that kid was awesome. So it's fun. I like a lot of voice actors go their whole career and don't have something that's well known. So this is kind of fun to be part of this. Andy, Blonde Freak Studios says, Andy, where did you get the inspiration for Hand Unit? Well, Scott wanted kind of a computer voice, sort of like HAL 2000 from Space Odyssey, but also kind of an infomercial voice. And so it kind of evolved into the voice. If you're as old as I am, you'll remember infomercial voices from the 80s and 90s on TV. And my friend and I in 12th grade would always drive our teachers crazy doing the voice like, now how much would you pay? Don't answer yet, because if you order today, you'll get a Ginsu knife and a smokeless ashtray. So it was kind of that infomercial voice plus the HAL 2000 voice, just kind of a gentle computer that isn't you're not in charge of. It's Cody says, Security Vanessa is my waifu. Say that, waifu or waifu? I don't know. I've seen the word. Here we go. Sup, Andy. Andy, can you say, long before time had a name, the first spinjitzu master created Ninjago? There you go. Andy, hi, Andy. You're very cool. Thank you. Going on down these questions. All right, now we're into our new messages. What is your favorite video game if you have one? Now, guys, I'm old. I'm like from the 80s and 90s. So man, back in the day, well, I loved playing video games. And so my daughter in Nashville just took me to a beercade recently. So that's what's trendy now for old people like me is these bars that have 80s and 90s video games in them. So man, I showed her how to play Joust. Man, that game was so cool. And Dig Dug, which was a fun one. All the Mortal Kombat fighting games were fun. The Ninja Turtles game, man, I liked all the games. The problem was back in the day, it cost a quarter to play them, and you only had so many quarters. I remember Pong when I was little, and then I remember the first time I saw Pac-Man. I mean, it was like a console video game in a grocery store was an unusual thing. Like I don't know that I'd ever seen anything like that. So kind of cool. Favorite video games nowadays. Played Mortal Kombat the other day on the PlayStation with my nephew, and I'm pretty good as long as he randomly picks a character. If he picks one that he knows, he knows every secret move and all that. And he doesn't like it when I make him randomly pick a character. Mortal Kombat's fun. FNAF, Help Wanted is pretty fun. Yeah, those are fun. I like the driving games too. Let's see. Blonde Freak Studios says, give my channel a shout out. Shout out to your channel. All right. How did you choose the tone of voice for Hand Unit? Is from Abril. And I answered that just a second ago, I think. The infomercials from the 80s. Do you think Hand Unit could overthrow management and take full control over Fazbear Entertainment? Man, that sounds like a good fan theory. I think he could. I don't know. Then there's all these theories that Hand Unit is really Circus Baby or Hand Unit is really William Afton or all that. So kind of cool. Joey Hates Christmas says, how does it feel working with Scott? I love working with Scott. He's maybe my favorite client. Always send him a Christmas card. And then I think he feels obligated and sends me one back too. You know how Christmas cards go. Do you think FNAF will continue after security breach? I think it will. I don't see why it wouldn't. I know Scott said he retired, but who knows? It's ugliness on the internet can always bring people down, but who knows? I mean, if I were Scott, I would totally quit. I would just be like living on a beach, drinking something out of a pineapple, and I would be done with everything. Giving money away still a lot. That was a question from Runner. Here's a question from Sebastio. Did you have fun voicing Hand Unit? I did. It's one of my more fun things to do. Again, because, a lot of my day isn't that fun. It's just narrating things or voicing things. So when something with a little humor or something that I know fans are going to like comes along, it's fun. Monster House Fan 11 says, Andy, do you like Monster House? Is that the movie? I don't know. I don't think I've seen it, but I think my kids liked Monster House, the movie. I might have seen it. I don't know. Cupid says Troll Scott. No way. Do you think you could say Bonnie Bold is now closing in Hand Unit's voice? There you go. Did it. Hand Unit's voice is mine. Elijah says, what will you do after this? After this, I have a doctor's appointment. And then going from the doctor to meet the client that I'm recording for tomorrow. I almost never meet clients in person. And I found this job for this client on the internet, and it was an hour away from my house, which is where my doctor is. And I told my client was like, when are you available this week? And I'm available Wednesday and Thursday. I said, but on Tuesday, I'm going to be like right by you at a doctor's appointment. And they were like, oh, we need to meet with you, but instead of phone call, just stop by. So I'm going to stop by. That's what I'm doing today. And then I got to get back home for a sound check with another client that I'm recording for this week. They hired me to do like the David Attenborough National Geographic narrator voice. That guy that goes, the Amazon rainforest, that guy. And so they're doing a commercial and I'm that voice in it. Going down these questions. Are you excited that security breach will become? Yes, I am. I'm pretty excited. I'm sure I'll download it right away. Is it going to be VR? It's got to be because it's steel wool, right? Jay says, I want to be a voice actor. What advice do you give? Well, first of all, there's a website that D. Bradley Baker has. And D. Bradley is a giant of voiceover. But his website is iwantobeavoiceactor.com. That's a good website. Not all of the advice on that website is solid because a lot of his advice is catered towards people who are in Los Angeles, which nowadays, especially voiceover is you can do it worldwide. I live in Louisiana, and I was in Mississippi before, and then Texas, and now Louisiana. So you could do it from anywhere. So number one is my advice is you got to spend some time and money on it, right? That's true of every career. Like if you wanted to be a welder, you've got to have the money to pay for welding school. You've got to have the time to go to welding school or to apprentice under a welder. Um, you've got to be able to invest in your business with advertising and business cards and a truck and a welding machine and all that stuff. If you want to be a teacher, you've got to give 4 years and you've got to be able to pay for that school somehow. Everything takes time and money. So start reading and figure out what it takes and put forth the time and the money. And we call that hustle. You got to have the hustle. And what I find I've taught 130 students now a class called The Business of Voiceover. I would say more than 80% of them just aren't doing a whole lot in voiceover. And that's largely due to hustle. And you can say, well, I don't have the money and I don't have the time. But every voice actor I've ever met found the money and found the time. So that's the advice. The other advice is you got to take acting lessons and don't say, oh, I took theater in school. You've got to get some lessons. There's plenty of cheap acting courses. Voiceover lessons are not that cheap, but you can find some. But you've got to get somebody who's on the outside looking in who can honestly tell you if what you're doing sounds good and maybe honestly give you some feedback on how to make it sound better. The question from the advanced is, what old voice actors will be returning to Security Breach? I don't know, but all over Twitter, everybody's saying Kellen, and that one character that's kind of standing on the thing sounds like Kellen. So I think Kellen. I'm not sure who else. I think I want to say one of my voice actor buddies messaged me and said, me too, but I don't want to announce it just in case. So Cupid says, you sound like Andy. Strange. Does that mean Andy sounds strange and so I sound strange? Or are you saying, I don't know. How did you felt when you were Ace and I says, how did you felt when you were considered as a voice actor of FNAF? Again, I didn't really know what FNAF was, but I thought it was really cool. Video games are always cool. So, when you get picked for a video game instead of a commercial or a corporate narration or something, it's always exciting. And then this one paid well. Sister Location, Scott paid very fair wages above what the Actors Union says is the minimum for that. So that felt good too. But at this point, FNAF's not about the money. FNAF's about the fun. I mean, and the fandom and just being part of it. 80 asked, your favorite line is hand unit. Already said it's, let's try another controlled shock. Will any of the old characters be returning in Security Breach? Maybe, maybe not. I don't even know if Hand Unit is called Hand Unit in Security Breach, right? Because they changed his name to Tutorial Unit in the Pizzeria Simulator, and then it was Hand Unit again for Special Delivery and Help Wanted. Can you say in a Hand Unit voice? I'm always reluctant to say these things that you guys want me to say, other than my lines from the game in the Hand Unit voice, because you guys like to go and use them without permission and stuff like that. And that's always, shouldn't do that. And Phantom Puppet says, please, it's your line. Okay. It seems that you had some trouble with the keypad. I see what you were trying to type, and I will autocorrect it for you. One moment. Welcome, Eggs Benedict. See, I'm not going to give you your thing there. Do you have any personal headcanons for Hand Unit? I think that Hand Unit, they're currently creating a body for Hand Unit. And they're going to, sync the Hand Unit controller right there into the body, and then you're going to have a bipedal, what do you call those things? What was the movie? Pacific Rim. What do they call those things? Robos. No. X? Big things. I have one of those big things. It's going to be awesome. How do you feel about working on any other project? Hey, man, as long as the pay is good, I feel great about it. This is my job, so I'll do just about any other project. There's content I won't do. Let's see. I'm going to keep going down. How was it voicing Hand Unit once again? And kind of get that question over again. Um, Venture Bonnie says, "Can I call you Hand Unit?" There's a comma there. So does that mean can I call you Hand Unit instead of Andy, or does it mean can I call you? And then you're calling me Hand Unit afterwards, which is not my name. Let's see. What are your favorite hobbies? Man, now that I'm old and working, it's almost like I don't have hobbies anymore. I used to really love to read, and I've kind of picked back up on reading lately. Um, I like working on stuff. I got a boat, and so it's always fun to take the boat out, and I like working on the boat. I used to have a Jeep, and I liked working on that. Now I don't have a Jeep. I got a truck. Um, I'm buying a camper here pretty soon, and I think maybe that's going to be my new hobby is like RVing. I'm going to put a voiceover booth in the back of the camper. That's like coming soon. You guys need to follow me like on my YouTube and my webpage and my social media and stuff because I'm about to have a mobile RV studio. It's going to be pretty cool. Maybe that's my new hobby. Reading. I like to read. There you go. Let's see. I just got a bloop bloop. Don't know what that means. Clicking. I'm scared to click away from this page. I don't know Discord well enough, and I'm scared things are gonna. I'm gonna click on it. Oh, Clarlight says, if you give me any and all links you want me to share, I'll share them for you. Now, to get back to where I was, so I can read all your questions. Let's see. Bring Bonnie's show stage. Okay, that's the stage. Okay, I can see that. Wow, there's a lot of you here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times 3 is 42. That's 43, 44, like 49 of you here. Wow, that's a lot of people. 50. Oh, it says at the top of the page 50 listening. I didn't have to count them. All right, let's see. I'm scrolling on down here. Let's see. Hang on, let's see. How would Hand Unit react to him getting shocked? Invernu says. Don't know. I think he would be like, let's try another. What are your favorite colors? I don't really have a favorite color. Depends on what the thing is that has color on it. Like, what's my favorite color for like a website theme as opposed to a car, as opposed to clothing. I think it's all different. Be the voice of Mario from the Zelda games? I am not. Charles Martinet is the voice of Mario from the Mario games. I don't know about the Zelda games. It's me, Mario. Let's see. Be sure to ask meaningful questions, please, guys. LOL. Nick Must says, way to go, Nick. To keep everybody in line. Except FNAF, what else game did you experience? Adventure Bonnie says, I've been in a ton of games, lots of them coming out of China, and I don't always know the names of them because they'll send you like the thing and they'll say, hi, Andy, please voice line for this game. And it'll be called like Epic Quest. I'm going to find a J. Okay, okay. Joey Does Stuff says, what's your least favorite FNAF game? I don't know them all well enough to have a least favorite. I don't know. I don't know much at all about special delivery, so just maybe the one that I know the least about is special delivery. I had it on my phone briefly, but I couldn't figure the game out. Who's your most favorite character in the entire series? I think Circus Baby's a fun character. She's got a lot of depth in there. You can hear in Heather's voice. There's some pain in there and stuff. It's pretty neat. When he said artistic is when you heard autistic. Got it. Dolly Vinci says, did Scoot told you some clues of lore? Why? I got to read this in the Hand Unit voice. Did Scoot told you some clues of lore while you're saying the lines to make you understand what you're talking about? That's just fun to read because I can tell that English, again, is your second language. And Scott is misspelled as Scoot, so that makes it more fun. He didn't tell me any lore at all. Nothing. Which is probably good, because as a computer, you don't necessarily Need to know them. Speaking of Scoot, though, what's fun is I have a friend named Scott Caldwell. That's not Scott Cawthon. It's another guy. And I know that he drives for Uber. And one night I was taking an Uber and I was going to give him the business and tell him to drive over near me. So I texted my friend and I just said to my phone, hey, Siri, text Scott Caldwell, are you driving for Uber tonight? Well, Siri thought that was Scott Cawthon. And so I accidentally texted Scott Cawthon. And so I texted him right back. And I'm sorry. I said, I'm sorry, man. I thought I was texting my friend Scott Caldwell. And he said, you have the wrong number. This is Scoot Carhorn. That's pretty funny. Like, I don't know Scott's phone number. So anyway, Lil Jet Gaming says, hey, how's it going, Andy? It's going great. Thanks for asking. Also, what was your favorite thing you voice acted in not related to Five Nights at Freddy's? Man, I'm going to tell you, there's so many now, but anytime there's a script that's fun and kind of funny, then that's fun. So there's a commercial for Capriati's. Capriati's is a sandwich shop, I think, up in the Northeast. That was a fun one. I think I have the commercial on my SoundCloud page if you find me in there for Capriati's. But I was a mountaineer, out of breath, about to die on the top of a mountain because of the cold and the wind. And naturally, my last thoughts drifted to my favorite sandwich at Capriati's. That was a fun script. Anything that's funny is always fun. What are your real goals in the future? Adventure Bonnie, what a great question. No one ever asks me that. I would like to retire completely from voiceover within the next 8 years. And I retire enough that I don't have to do anything, and I could only do the fun stuff. There wouldn't be any corporate narrations or any real deadlines. If they wanted to call me and say, hey, can you voice this Disney villain, then sure. But other than that, I would, be drinking something out of a pineapple on a beach, traveling. That's my real goal. So I'm doing what I can right now to kind of make sure that my future is taken care of. Nick Mus says, what were some of the struggles working on Security Breach during the pandemic? There weren't any. Everything I did was from here, from the studio that I'm sitting in right now. So no struggles whatsoever. My biggest struggle is sometimes, if my voice is broken from working too hard like I'm doing right now. Joey Does Stuff says, do you have exotic butters? Sadly, I do not. I just have normal butters. The Advanced went ahead and answered Nick Mus's question. Thanks. Let's see. IE Chef says, where's the other channels? I think that person is trying to hear the audio as well, if somebody can hook them up. Adventure Bonnie says, so did you like Exotic Butters when you call Exotic Butters in Night 5? It was kind of cool. Because by then, I did each of the nights separately. Like, Scott would send me a script, say, okay, here's the script for night 2. So by night 5, I was just like all of you. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's he going to say this time? And so the Exotic Butters was kind of funny. I had no idea it was going to turn into a meme, with Markiplier asking everybody to do remixes and make a plushie from Funko. Jay says, did Andy stop talking? Didn't. Okay, and Scalarlight has answered that. Okay. All right, let's see. Dolly Vinci says, can you say hello? Well, that's not a Handunit line. That's a phone guy line, right? Hello. I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled on your first night. Okay. Let's see. Going down to questions. Andy, who's your favorite Jimmy Neutron character? My favorite Jimmy Neutron character, Jimmy Neutron, of course. And the voice of Jimmy Neutron is Debbie Derryberry, who I'm social media friends with. I was going to say she's my friend. She's not my friend. She's my Facebook friend. But she's pretty cool. Will you be in FNAF AR? I'm in FNAF AR, right? Isn't that special delivery? I think I am. Location. Okay, Bonnie. Bonnie Bowl is a bowling alley in the Security Breach Mall. I have no idea about Bonnie Bowl and nothing to know about it. Jay keeps asking me to say these Ninjago lines. Um, no, I can't do it as hand unit. Um, but I can give you an epic narration, Jay. Here it is, just for free, just so you can put it on your Ninjago fan fiction thing. You ready? Here it goes. Get ready to record. Are you hitting record? Here we go. Long before time had a name, Ninjago was created by the first spinjitzu master using the 4 weapons of spinjitzu. The scythe of quakes, the nunchucks of lightning, the shurikens of ice, and the sword of fire. Weapons so powerful, no one can handle all of their power at once. Until now. Is there going to be 5 nights in Security Breach? I don't know, Joseph BTW. One would think because that's the format, but we don't know. There's not 5 nights in Help Wanted, are there? Who knows? More explanations of Bonnie Bowl. What's you okay? Is there other okay? I honestly think you would make a brilliant phone guy. Boy, Bonnie said, and said that 25 minutes ago before I actually did my phone guy impression. There you go. Waluigi Pinball was letting Jay know he thought that I wouldn't record it. Are you looking forward to voicing in future FNAF games, even if you're cast in a role that's not hand unit? Man, Azazel, man, I would love to be cast in a role that's not hand unit, and hand unit, of course. But man, I would love to be anything. That would be amazing. Adventure Bonnie says, what are your real goals in the future? But I already answered that. I hope you recorded that, Jay. Let's see. What are your favorite music genres? I like a lot of music genres. I mean, a lot, like a lot. In my car, I'm likely either listening to Christian contemporary music like K-Love or maybe country. But I might also have on top 40, or sometimes there's a good classic rock station. And sometimes I get tired of classic music. And classic rock is like Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin and stuff. But then it's funny because now that I'm old, the songs that were cool when I was a kid are now classic. So if there's like 80s and 90s hits, then that's pretty cool too. But like in my house, if I'm just asking my Google assistant to play something, a lot of times it's just smooth jazz because I like the background music of smooth jazz. Especially now, I'll be like, hey, Google, play smooth jazz Christmas music. You know, you'll get like Kenny G playing, something pretty cool. I got a lot. I like Latino music. When I was living in Texas and learning to speak Spanish, I would listen to a lot of Latino music, especially if you're tuning in here from El Paso. I would listen to 91.1 Manantial Radio. That's 91.1 Manantial Radio. Bonnie, okay. Did being a FNAF voice actor make you a more popular teacher at your school? I guess maybe with the FNAF kids, but only a little. Let's see. Do you think FNAF is educational or not as a teacher? Not particularly. I mean, if you're speaking English as a second language, yes, because hand unit has good diction and good vocabulary, so you're learning things there. Everything's educational, but and it teaches you to be stubborn, to go back and try things after you failed. So there's some life skills, but is it educational? I don't know, not really. Let's see. Medieval Puppet says, wish I could join, guys, but I'm in school. Good. Stay in school, Medieval Puppet. Monster House fan says, do you like Mitchell's versus the Machines? No idea what it is. This has been another episode of Ask Your Dad Questions About Pop Culture. Let's see. Joust and Dig Dug are great games. You love reading FNAF books. I read the first couple, I think. I may not have finished the second one. I mean, they're okay. They're good. They're fine teen fiction, but I don't have enough time to read stuff. And so I've got a lot of books in my house that I've started but haven't finished. Let's see. What's your favorite character in all the FNAF games? I think I answered that. I think it was Circus Baby. Let's see. Arcade says I must go now. I'm scrolling, man. We're gonna run out of. Do you think Hand Unit would randomly connect to the intercom speakers in various establishments to tell people random fast facts? That would be cool. Hey, I tell you what, I would like Hand Unit to do, if anybody has a connection. There's an app for your phone called Waze, W-A-Z-E. It's a navigation app, but you can download certain celebrities' voices to narrate. But I would put a lot of effort into being able, and you can do your own, but it sounds like junk because you have to record it on your phone. And I wish Waze would give me the opportunity to record from my studio and give really good lines for Waze. Lines, I would have to come up with some good Hand Unit lines for like when you've deviated from the route and we're having to correct your route, things like that. I'm a little late, so you can ignore this question if already answered, Sonia says, but how was the auditioning stage and how did you feel about getting to voice Hand Unit? Here's what's funny. Nowadays with voiceover, you can do everything from the internet. So I've only auditioned in a studio one time in my 8 years of doing voiceover. And that was a callback. I did the initial audition online and then they called me back and I flew out to LA to do a callback. That was to be the Honey Nut Cheerios Bumblebee, which I did not get the part. Um, but so the audition was just recording in my studio and mailing it in, so that was cool. And then I got the voice Hand Unit, which was cool. Let's see. Waluigi Pinball says, where do you guys want the MP3 to be posted? Can you make FNAF's sister location in real life happen? I don't think so. Let's see. Andy, did you see Steven Spielberg War of the Worlds yet? Because it's creepy and the aliens in it buried their machines under the earth for thousands of years. Is that the one with Tom Cruise? I don't think I saw it. I'm a soldier, and so a lot of times when I see soldier stuff that isn't like even close to right, it bothers me. And I think that's the one where I saw these guys shooting like multiple missiles out of this rocket launcher that only shoots one. I was like, I'm not watching that. But I was a young man then. I'm a little more lenient now. Fastbearn Friends ENT says, what made you get this far in your career? It was hustle. It was putting in the hustle to do everything I can and a little bit of luck. You just audition and audition and audition and do all the things you're supposed to do and market yourself. And sooner or later you land enough repeat clients that kind of keep you supported. Sonia says, how quickly did you get along with the other voice actors? We first met at SAC Anime, which was an anime convention in Sacramento in early 2017. And there were 6 of us there. And man, it was like we were all best friends like from the get-go. It was so fun. We get along with each other pretty well. And then I've met Chris McCullough outside of that, and he's a cool guy to hang out with. And then I've met Joe Gaudette. We've done a couple of Comic Cons together. Joe is absolutely hilarious to be around in person. He's much funnier in person than he is on his social media channels. And just a fun guy to be around. And his wife and kids are I've met his wife and son. His daughter was being babysat. Going down to questions. Were you interested in programming? Not really. I mean, I learned how to program back in the day, and I taught my STEM students when I was a teacher some basic types of programming, but not really. It's like learning another language, isn't it? Did you like Kellen Golf voice any characters in FNAF? Bonnie, I'm not sure what you're asking there. What do you think about FNAF Plus? I don't know what FNAF Plus is. Do you have the Exotic Butters plush? I did, and then I sold it on eBay, and then I got another. I had like 3 or 4, and I sold them at Comic Cons and stuff, and now I can't get one because I guess I should. They're out there. They're like $50 on eBay now. Security Surfy Lexi Jr. says, who the heck are these people? I don't know. Security Surfy Lexi Jr. Any other characters you really wanted to voice? I don't know. I would just like to voice anything. They're all so fun. I auditioned for several of the ones that Joe Gaudette auditioned for. I auditioned for Mr. Hippo, but I made him a little sadder because I felt like I knew the FNAF lore. And you know how all these animated animals have some sort of sad story. But it turned out that by the time we got to the Ultimate Custom Night, we were just getting funny. And I auditioned for that Southern Bear. I auditioned for quite a few. They were all fun. What was your reaction when Scott retired? Good for him. Congrats to Scott. I don't know that he's going to stay retired. Scott seems like one of those people whose retirement plan is to not retire, is to just keep working. So we'll see. Joey Does Stuff says, remember the interview you did with Daco? Yes, I do. I love Daco. I'm a Doc bro. Do you have a favorite FNAF fan game? Nah, I don't. Not familiar with really any of them. I don't follow the fan games. What's your favorite animatronic in FNAF World? I think it's Adventure Bonnie. I've never played or even seen FNAF World, but Adventure Bonnie is a cool looking one. Let's see. Waluigi Pinball is going to send everybody a YouTube link of this. He's recording this. He Does Stuff asks Adventure Bonnie, what's with you and putting a lot of question marks and exclamation points? Full critical there, Joey. Lighten up, Francis. Ed says, what's your favorite movie? It's The Princess Bride. All day long. Adventure Bonnie says, sorry. Joey Does Stuff says, don't say sorry. Lighten up, Joey. Leave this guy alone. Let's see. Shad says, what's your favorite movie again? Oh, we're down to, it's still, do you like Handunit's current design or would you change it? And, okay, I'm scrolling down fast here to see if there's, all right. Questions are now closed. Let's ask Andy. Let's let Andy ask the remaining questions that are here. Thanks. Cause I've got to go here. I got to get to my, I've got to get to my doctor's appointment. However, you like burgers. I love burgers. Could you tell us a story from your childhood in the Handunit voice? Yes, I will. One fine summer afternoon, I was being towed behind our go-kart by my brother as I rode a skateboard with a rope tied to the go-kart. And as we rode down the street, the skateboard began the death wobble, radically jerking from left to right, until finally I was hurled from the skateboard onto a very hard, gravelly asphalt street. Luckily, I remembered to let go of the rope as my brother proceeded to the house without me as I lay in the street bloody and groaning. Apparently, my brother walked into the house and said to my parents, hey, Andy got in a wreck on the skateboard. That was it. I proceeded to limp into the house 15 minutes later, bloody, almost crying, saying, I think I broke my leg. It was a little bit dramatic, but I survived. My parents told me never do that again. Exotic butters. There you go. That was my Handunit story. All right, guys, I got to run. So thanks so much for having me. This was fun. I always like talking to the fans. If there's anything else, just ping me on social media or something. Follow me on the Meads, the social Meads. That's what we cool kids say, the Meads. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna get out of here now. If I can figure out how. Okay. Bye, everybody.